And I quote, "I am a black Nazi. Slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring slavery back. I would certainly buy a few." That is alleged commentary from Mark Robinson, the current Republican candidate for governor in the key swing state of North Carolina and an ally of the Republican nominee for President Donald Trump. According to reporting from CNN today, Robinson, under the username Mini Soldier, wrote these and plenty of other comments on a porn website called Nude Africa between the years 2008 and 2012. While endorsing slavery and co-signing on Nazism would mark a new low for even Mark Robinson, he is no stranger to shocking, hateful commentary on topics ranging from abortion to the Holocaust to the LGBTQ+ community. Robinson today vehemently denied that he posted these comments and insists that he will not exit the governor's race.
This is not us. These are not our words, and this is not anything that is characteristic of me, nor has it ever been.
How do you explain all of the matching details on this profile? The profile on Nude Africa lists your full name as Mark Robinson. The email listed on the account is an email that you have used elsewhere on the internet, including with your photo.
I'm not going to get into the minutia of how somebody manufactured these salacious tabloid lies, but I can tell you this: there's been over $1 million spent on me through AI by a billionaire son who's bound and determined to destroy me.
Joining me now is Sam Stein, managing editor at The Bulwark and an MSNBC contributor. Sam, it was all AI that did it. I just want to remind everybody at home that these are posts from 2008 to 2012, which was really the pre-AI era. And Mini Soldier is also Mark Robinson's official handle on, I believe, Pinterest, YouTube, and Twitter. The North Carolina Republican Party is standing by Mark Robinson, a man who, as you point out, is 8 points behind in this race, right? And I'm not even saying it would be understandable if he was neck and neck, but the fact that they have every reason to get this man out of the race and are choosing not to tells you as much about the North Carolina Republican Party as it does tell you about Mark Robinson. My question to you is, do you think any of this redounds to Donald Trump, who is, a Mark Robinson ally, who has said he thinks Mark Robinson is better than Martin Luther King? I think you are Martin Luther King times two. I mean, do you think that the stench of this scandal wafts over to Donald Trump or no?
Well, first off, the fact that Trump compared him to Martin Luther King, we now know that probably Mark Robinson took that as an insult based on his internet history of posting horribly insensitive things about Martin Luther King. So maybe that wasn't the best compliment to pay the guy. In terms of what you're saying, obviously it doesn't help, right? Like, you want someone running for governor who can maybe bring in some people that you aren't depending on. Usually it's the top of the ticket, obviously, that gives the benefits down ballot. And so in this case, Mark Robinson would benefit from Trump. But I talked to a couple of Republicans in North Carolina today for a piece we have on The Bulwark. They're like, this is a huge distraction. He cannot go into the state and appear with Mark Robinson anymore. If he were to go into the state, he's going to be asked about why he was so effusive in his praise of this guy. Did they not vet him? And of course, if you're a Republican in North Carolina with some sort of sanity and introspection, you'll say, is this really the ticket of Republicans that I want? Is this the voting? Are these the elected officials that I want to elevate? So I don't know if it's going to have a huge impact on Donald Trump, but keep in mind, this is the state that Harris's people have continuously said is their kind of, main prize for flipping, more so almost than Georgia. So this is already bound to be a very close state, and this does not help in the slightest for Trump.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I mean, it makes North Carolina like a sort of kryptonite for Trump, because if he goes there, he's going to have to talk about literally the website Nude Africa and Black Nazism. It's like the words roll off your tongue and you can't believe you're saying that.
It's hard to understand you're saying it. It's like, what am I talking about?
I didn't, just to be clear, not my words, Mark Robinson's alleged words. Sam, I got to ask you about that. Like, put on your Sherlock Holmes hat for a moment. And the timing on all this is very interesting, is it not? I mean, this is the deadline for Mark Robinson to get on or to stay on the ballot or have his name removed. And this is breaking right now. Now, that is not to diminish the excellent K-File reporting that I know went into this, but does this smack a little bit of opposition research to you from the Democratic candidate?
So, no, not the I thought about this, too. I don't think Democrats would be eager. First of all, Andrew Kaczynski is an amazing reporter. I think this was not opposition research. This fits a pattern of incredible scoops that he's done throughout his career. So That's my theory of the case. I did, before I knew it was Andrew on the byline, I did have this exact thought. And then I was thinking, well, I talked to a couple Democrats up high in national politics close to the Harris campaign, and they were all sort of like despondent. They're like, why is this coming out on September 19th? We need it out on October 19th. You know, like they want it much further in the cycle. And then Republicans, look, it's in theory, I guess, or if you're like a Republican, you wanted Robinson to leave, like this would be not the time to do it. But the truth is, like, this is way too late. Even if he were to leave, there would be a huge swath of people. First of all, he's going to fight it. He's fighting it. But there would also be a huge swath of the electorate who feels like you cannot abandon these people, that you have to fight any accusation leveled by the mainstream media because that is inherently adversarial, and that to give in, the mere act of giving in, is political defeat in and of itself. And so we're at this place where Republicans cannot quit races, where they cannot step aside because that would depress the base so much.
And no matter how repellent the candidate is, you stand by your man, even when you have to say the words Black Nazi over and over again. Sam Stein, thank you for your reporting. Thank you for your analysis. Thank you for your time, my friend.
Anytime,
Thank you for
Alex.
saying Nude Africa.
Anytime.